Welcome at the Simone's family estate here in beautiful Tuscany. You already probably saw some of the watches in the collection of Marlon and Julian de Simone in previous season, and today we also sit down with the father. This trio makes up for Watches in Rome, a renowned dealership, and of course these three are also vivid collectors. Now for this episode I'm wearing a 6611B, a Rolex day-date from the 1950s with a black gilt dial, quite unique bracelet that I picked up some 7 years ago with these three gentlemen. Let's talk today about some of the generation differences and how a family can do business together and support each other. Well, thank you very much for the immense hospitality. Really enjoy it here. It's great. Let's start with watches, of course. What is on your wrist, Julian, today?
Today I have a hooded Lux bubble back, steel and pink gold, with a two-tone dial, with the radium indexes and radium.
Beautiful. Can I see it?
Of course.
Back when you were dealing a lot of watches, Maurizio, they really enjoyed the bubble backs, huh?
Yes, when we started the collection idea in the 80s, the most desirable watches were Rolex and bubble backs and the prints, watches with a size which was this size.
Yeah.
And was acceptable at that time. It was very desirable. And the hooded were a special, in the family of the bubble bag were the special one.
Yeah.
We didn't so many because all of them went to Japan. Japanese collectors were collecting the highest quality and the rarest of the bubble bags, and also the Explorer one. They were very focused in a few kind of watches, and we Italians we were more in the Submariner, GMTs, and Daytonas.
Yeah.
So we don't see many, but when I was able to find some with this condition and this rarity, I was really happy to have.
And the two-tone with a perfect dial, radium index.
Yeah. This watch we bought at the important auction house a few years ago, paying a lot of money for it, but I never regrets because unique like these are nice. And I think that today this size is going to be again having a good life. I see there is a strong interest in that watches finally, because for years we were waiting the moment when this kind of watch will come back.
Yeah.
Because I like the oversized, but sometimes it went too much.
Because you're wearing, I think, a Daytona on a bootstrap, or what is it?
This is a very special watch. I'll show you. It is a Paul Newman, but as
The Solo?
Yes, it's a Neanderthal.
Wow.
Neanderthal in white, which is I think the only one known today, with a white base. It's really tropical. When I say tropical, if you have a look, probably you see which is more than tropical. It's a little bit destroyed. It looks like the movie Out from New York 1996. Yeah. Something like that. I like so much.
But this is the only Neanderthaler with a white dial?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Today, I think there are no other seen in the market. I bought this dial in New York in a fair long time ago from a very now famous dealer. At that time, he was a young guy. He was just in the beginning of his career. And in his boots, I saw this dial. I said, what it is?
Andrew Scher or Eric Koo?
Andrew Scher.
Andrew.
So Andrew sold me. And then I said, okay, this I will never sell.
Super cool. Thanks for showing.
Thank you so much.
Let's have a look around the estate, because I heard you also produce your own olive oil, yeah?
Yeah, we have 700 olive trees here around, and now we're going to see them.
Were you forced by him into watches, or how did your passion ignite and when?
No, it's actually in 2009.
Okay.
I went to London to live, and as I was making also an experience and I wanted to discover the world of watches, I went to a friend of us, a very good friend of us, Rash Jain, and I went to his Newbond Street shop, and I started there to make experience and to see if I actually like watches. And so I came back to Rome liking watches with new experience, with more knowledge, and I joined then the Watches in Rome team in Rome.
And you know, when they were kids, Julian and Marlon, I never talk about watches in the family, you know, because at that time we had the lira, you know, and so we are talking about million liras, billion liras, you know, which was a big number. So once at the school, when he was a kid, Marlon, the teacher said, okay, write something about your father's job. So Marlon wrote, my father sells watches for a lot of millions. Full stop.
I mean, at your age, you've seen already so many crazy watches.
Yeah.
Since your father started 40 years ago, he's seen most of the most important watches in the world. So which are the watches you are jealous of that he had the opportunity to deal with and you haven't yet?
Well, since I started, we already also had a lot, but maybe I would say that NOS Pulsation Daytona you had in the past. I never had a NOS one.
Yes.
6239.
6239.
Skill.
It was a nice story when I bought the watch. I bought the watch in a show in the US where I was used to go every month. And at that time we were just going and buying like in a supermarket, you know. I need 10 Daytonas, the market price is $3,500. I buy 10 for $305,000. So at the end of the show I was going out for dinner with friends. An old man was seated in the hotel room, in the hotel lobby, and called me and said, Maurizio, I know you are buying Daytonas. I have this nice one. It has a nice 6239. I said, well, how much you want? He said, 3.7. I said, my friend, you'll pay 3.5. It's a little bit too expensive, but let's do. I got dinner. When I come back, you drink a beer, think about, and then we talk and made the deal. I came back after, I forgot about, and I saw the old man was seated there with 4 beers, drinking, waiting for me. I said, oh my God, I forgot. So I went to him, I gave him 3,600.
And you didn't know it was a pulsation?
Then I put the watch on my wrist. It was late, I was a little drink. I went up, the morning after I went down for breakfast with the watch on my wrist. I didn't have a look at it, you know. And my neighbor said to me, do you want to sell for 10,000? I said, what's up? I think he was joking, you know. Then I discovered it was a pulsation mint. Mint.
Lucky mistake.
Lucky
mistake. Okay, so these are the olive trees.
Yeah, this is start here the plantation of 700 of these trees. So we do just a small production for us. I call a special edition from family and friends.
So do I belong to friends now?
You are both.
You were already.
You are in the family too.
So maybe. I get the 5 liters?
You are very close to the. So instead of 3, you have the big one, the 5.
Thank you. I love this.
I hope you appreciate.
I hope to also see the very picturesque city around here.
Yes, let's go. We have the nearest house to the village, which is upstairs in the hill. It's a very old city from 16th century, and you will see it's a nice.
Okay, let's see it, man.
Well, let's go.
Then.
Please.
So this is really the city center of Capalbio.
Yes.
And you love to spend time here with family.
Yes.
But how is it to do business with family? Are there any downside or only good upsides?
I think good upsides.
Julian, do you consider yourself more of a watch dealer or more a collector?
I would say a watch dealer. Then, of course, our way of doing business is like a collectors. We are collecting watches and we can keep watches for years before we find the right collector where the watch goes. But I must feel that I'm a watch dealer. If not, maybe I should change my job.
We like our job because we are in contact with good people, we share a passion. I had the chance to become friends of very, very nice people. So we don't sell watches for everybody. We are, you know, very particular kind of watches for some particular customers. So,
can you share some of the most important watches you have traded or you have collected over the years?
You mean?
Because I saw in the store when I was in Rome, I saw the black dial 6062.
Yeah, that one we bought from the original owners. There were 2 brothers. So one of the brothers wanted to sell it, and the other one wanted to keep. So it was a little bit hard for me to convince them. But finally, we were able to buy that watch, which was A beautiful, beautiful watch.
Yeah.
I recently sold it after, I don't know how many years.
What's the coolest deal you've made?
Probably the Oyster Sotto.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that was one of the coolest. The watch I found many years ago at Kaplan's in Sweden.
And you flew to Sweden to check it out, or you bid online?
Actually, my father then flew it.
I went there with my wife. She never came to the auction. That was the first time because we
First
never
and
went
only.
to Sweden. So we went there. As soon as I arrived, I saw the watch. I said, okay, tomorrow I will bid. Very proud that I would buy it for nothing. Then I went to a fish restaurant. As soon as I came in, good friend of me, important dealers from America was there.
You know the price is going to be high.
Okay.
But in the end, you managed to buy the Soto.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that time we were buying a lot of them because I was discovering this watch before most of the people.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to buy also in Geneva and Sotheby's for 160,000, 200,000. It was growing like this, you know.
Yeah.
That one in Kaplan's was less than 300. Then suddenly it
This is before Daytona Ultimatum, before
yes,
2015.
then exploded
Yeah.
and then down.
Is it hard to say goodbye to watches like, for example, the Black Dial 6062?
It's very hard. That's why I sold to a very good friend of me with the promise that if one day he want to sell it, he will try to sell it to me back.
Yeah, that's
And-
nice. By building up collections with clients, you know where the watches are. You know
Yeah.
they will find you if they want to get rid of it
Yes,
again.
Yes, and this customer, this friend, more than customer, already gave me the proof that he did it. Because I sold to him a very nice 1518 pink on pink. And then 3 years later, I asked him the watch and he said to me, okay, I make a trade. I gave him another watch, the first series 2499 pink, and I got the 1518 in trade.
So he kept his word.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it works.
And word is, in the end, in our business, it's the most valuable thing.
Yeah.
Always keep your word.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
true.
Let's have a look around, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please,
let's
let's go upstairs.
So Jasper, now we're walking on the walls, ancient walls of Capalbio, the surrounding walls. As you can see there is the ancient tower.
With the piano of Puccini.
Yeah, exactly. Inside there is the piano of Puccini. And as I was mentioning, this is a medieval town, very well preserved and very well famous now, we can say even all over the world. There are many people from many countries that now are owning a land, a house here in the countryside, which is very beautiful. And on your left side, you can also see the seaside that's very close. So might be a good idea to move now to the seaside.
Yeah, let's go to the beach. The weather is nice, so why not?
Yes, cool.
So Julian, how do you see the younger generation appreciating vintage watches, or is there more growing segment in neo-vintage, for example?
I see also young collectors, they like very much vintage, they're into, even I see now there is a vogue for, or an interest for a 1930s Patek,
So really early.
very early, and I think it's growing. As also we were discussing, like also people now are very influential,
Yeah,
and so they can also, with the rising, of course, of all the various Instagram and all this way of communication, like people can know, they can study much faster things.
Yeah.
So once an important, let's say important collector is showing something, everybody can see it directly and they can start to study, and it can grow much faster, the interest for something.
yeah. And is it also the case that you take those clients on if they become new collectors, young people, and you still have your old clients from even 40 years ago?
No, I mean, we mix. I mean, my old friends, because you know, when you have a relationship with the collectors for years,
Yeah.
at the end you become friends.
Of course.
No, so we
But
respect
you still
each
have
other,
friends
we
from back then.
Yeah, we still have. But I like to be the challenge to be able to intercept the newcomers because
Yeah.
it's something which make me happy. And I see that now, of course, it's easier because you have a lot of information from the net. In a few months, you can learn a lot if you like something, you know. And the
Yeah.
neo-vintage and the dress watches, what is coming up now, is just because collectors wants to find something new, something which is not boring like the last 10 years. Everybody was looking for the same watches.
Yeah,
Okay,
true.
some classics will be forever. Paul
I agree.
Newman's Daytona, whatever, or the classic Patek forever. But some new ideas are welcome, I think.
Do you think you still will be inspired and surprised after all these years and seeing all these watches?
Yes, I'm always surprised. I have to tell you that this week maybe I will buy one of the nicest watch I've bought in the last 10 years. So I'm excited like hell. So I'm always excited. And
So you still can be excited like back in the days.
yeah,
to
being
find new watches.
an antique dealers like I am, every day can be the day you can be surprised with somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody you meet, somebody you buy something from, somebody you sell something to. So that's the exciting of my business. Then okay, the money goes up and down. I don't need, as you see, we are living a very simple life. We have what we need. We don't need to have an helicopter or a big boat over here. I like to windsurf. This beach, I used to windsurf with my wife for 30 years and having a lot of fun. So this is what I like, And in that way, also collecting is a little bit surfing. I mean, you get the wave, you surf the wave, and the moment you have to go out, you go out and look for another wave.
That's a beautiful analogy.
But
don't you miss, Julian, the old days? Like if you hear your father with the stories that people really come into the store and that you don't know what they will pick out of their pocket, or you go to the trade show. Now everything is WhatsApp and Instagram, and most of the watches have been shared.
Yeah, for example, I've been searching watches in smaller auctions for many years.
Yeah.
Really at the beginning, and I was finding a lot in the UK as for example, that Submariner. Even that we paid more. But anyway, it's not about the price. I really enjoyed finding
the hunt.
Because of course that watches were really coming from the original owner.
So the internet makes it so much bigger.
Yeah.
It's also interesting because it attracts more people.
Yeah,
You can
that
really
is
influence
also
people with watches they would otherwise never see.
yes, of course.
Young people will only see Batman or Hulk, and now they will see
No,
the
of course.
beautiful vintage watches.
Yeah.
But the downside, of course, is there's less surprise and there's less history and let's say hunt into it.
I tell you this, in the old days, to buy a watch from a private was like this. You receive by postcard. You open, there is a Polaroid of a watch that you don't even are able to understand if it's an Omega or a Patek or whatever. The private says, I have this watch from my grandfather, how much you give me? And this it takes a few months eventually to meet the guy and buy the watch.
Yeah.
So now, you take a picture, put on the net, maybe 5 minutes after it's sold, or you buy something like that. So it's easier, and I appreciate it. So I think me, the old generation like me now, for years we were trying probably to teach our sons, our people to be in the business. Now we are learning. I mean, now I'm very curious and I'm learning from them what is the new business now.
Yeah.
It's changing, big changing. We must be ready,
I'm very grateful to the Simone family. Thank you so much for this beautiful, incredible day.
Our pleasure.
Really our pleasure.
Besides beautiful watches, of course, we had to enjoy some beautiful food, even with the homemade olive oil. So that's a nice addition to it. And I hope you enjoyed the day too.
Yes.
Make sure you follow Watches in Rome, Julian de Simone, Maurizio de Simone, and Marlon de Simone, and of course Jasper Kilby. Subscribe to our channel, and we see you back soon. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.